Good afternoon, I'm Michael Williams. Let's take you to Fort Pierce, where we await the start of a news conference from Fort Pierce Police regarding their search for a domestic violence suspect who got away this morning. Here's how it all developed. Just before 1 o'clock this morning, Ernest Lee Reese is arrested. He's taken to the hospital complaining of a medical issue, and then after that, as he's supposed to go back into custody, he escapes. There's a carjacking, that person not hurt. It goes on. Let's listen in.
This morning for a complaint of injury, for a medical clearance before going to jail, and he escaped from the officer at Longwood Hospital.
Was he actually inside the building of Longwood as opposed to like outside the structure? There's some apparently confusion about that.
He was outside.
Was he handcuffed?
Yeah. Yes, he was handcuffed in the front at that time.
Can you unfold like what happened?
He had claimed to be faint. Officer brought him into the hospital, got him some water, brought him back out, let him sit in the curb because he was in a smaller vehicle and Ernest was a larger man, and when he let him sit in the curb, the officer let him get too far away and he took off.
And the ran away, and the officer tried to
catch him on foot. Yes.
In the carjacking or the vehicle theft, or
so the officer lost sight of him after a short foot chase. While officers were responding to the area, the one officer that had chased him was walking on foot and observed him coming out of a back parking lot of one of the businesses over there. Somebody who was waiting to go into the office to go to work. The car was taken from that person. That person is not injured, but he took that car, and the car was recovered off of 25th Street in Port St. Lucie.
What place of business was that where that guy was working?
I don't know the business name. It was one of the doctor's offices over there. I believe it was Cancer Radiology Associates or something, but I can't tell you the exact business name. I don't know it off the top of my head.
did the Mr. Reese, I suppose, he had his handcuffs were cuffed in front of him the whole time?
The whole time, as far as what are you asking? Like, he was at the time when they had taken him in to get water, they had moved his cuffs were in the front, and so when he escaped, he got away. The cuffs were still in the front.
Talk to me about the pursuit of him in that stolen car.
So there were officers already in the area looking for him. Several units were already in the area. When the officer on foot saw him in the Honda leaving that business, he called it. He informed everybody on the radio. There was a short vehicle pursuit, which was discontinued because at that time in the morning, 7:45 in the morning, you have kids walking to school, and the public safety it was better to terminate that pursuit at that time.
How did you guys find the car at the boulevard? I can't remember the name of the street where it was found. It
was up off 25th and Macedo. I don't know how that was found. It was found, I want to say, by either the sheriff's office or Port St. Lucie. So I can't explain to you exactly who located the car and how, but it was found, I want to say, on the side of the road up there.
Has Mr. Reese been found yet, to your knowledge, or?
As of this time, Mr. Reese has still not been located. We are still following up leads with Port St. Lucie Police Department, the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Marshal Service. We're all working in conjunction, following leads and having tips come in. So as of right now, I do not believe he's in custody.
Lieutenant, does the girlfriend have anything to do with this situation? Was he picked up by her whatsoever?
I'm going to hold off on that. I don't. That's with the investigation that's going on. I don't want to give any details about who might be involved because it is still under investigation.
Assuming Mr. Reese just got caught in the next couple of hours, what type of charges would he face in relation to the incidents that occurred today?
So from the incidents that would stem from this morning, there will be an escape charge, a carjacking charge, resisting without, escape carjacking, resisting without. Yeah, those three would be added to the charges he had previously.
Now, this isn't the first time this has happened at the hospital, correct?
Well, what are you referring to?
Someone getting away from the law enforcement.
Are you referring to a specific incident? Because I believe I know what you're probably asking about, but I would want to make sure before I tell you, no, that's not the same incident.
Okay.
Are you talking about the gentleman that escaped?
Yeah.
There was the
I'll
same day of
I'll take it a step further than you. So Justice Reynolds got away about a month ago.
That's-
I know that wasn't from your guys' custody.
Right.
However, That happened at Longwood. Also in that area, if I remember correctly, an ambulance was stolen from that area. Is that something that is?
So that, I believe, was and I think I know what you're talking about. I thought that was a Baker Act patient that was released. It wasn't like an escaped prisoner. That was somebody who and again, without knowing the exact case, if you have time to review it, I can't tell you that, but I don't believe that was an escaped prisoner. That was something else.
Is that area a growing concern for you guys?
Usually any of the incidents that happen there stem from people being released from the hospital. Like I said, I believe the one you're referring to was a woman who was released from the hospital for something completely unrelated and decided to take an ambulance to go home.
Mr. Reynolds, the gentleman from February 1st, do you know if he's been apprehended?
I do not know the status of that. I can't answer that.
Now, Reese does have an extensive history with law enforcement.
Yes, he does have a
Can you
history.
talk to me about some of the things that you guys know about it?
So he has multiple cases he has a couple weapons cases. He has some violence in his past, aggravated battery. And he has a lot of juvenile charges.
Should this man be considered dangerous?
I would tell you, he has a history, and for just safety's sake, if anybody sees him, not to approach him, call 911, let the law enforcement agency of the area deal with him. Again, he is an escaped prisoner, so I would say everybody should be cautious, and just if you see him, call 911.
Who's out looking for this man? How many folks do you have on this situation?
Well, I can't give you a number of that, but I mean, you have a mixture of the Fort Pierce Police Department, Port St. Lucie Police Department, St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, U.S. Marshal's Office. There are a lot of people looking for him right now. And I think, I couldn't give you a number, but, and you got a statewide bolo that goes out stating that, hey, we're looking for escaped prisoner Ernest Reese.
I'm curious about the officers that he got away from. What is the situation with them? Does that place them on administrative leave until he's found because there's going to be an investigation into this? What happens with those officers?
Okay. So we do have an internal process, but I don't want to talk about that. So it will be, the incident automatically goes under review. And in a scenario like this, no, it goes under review, and whatever will come of that review will determine what happens with that officer.
What's the procedure when you transport an inmate to the hospital? Is there a certain procedure when it comes to handcuffs, when it comes to what you do?
I would say every case is handled on a different basis. Not every case is the same, so they're not all handled the same. But there is a policy. We have a prisoner transport policy in place.
This gentleman asked about, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly, what will happen with the officer, I guess, who's into his custody, Mr. Reese, was at the time of his leaving. Is it just essentially fair to say that the incident will be reviewed internally by your agency to determine, I guess,
Yes.
if there's any consequences, I suppose, or?
Whatever the review would show would determine what kind of consequence there'd be.
Now,
Okay.
was he in the back of the car when this happened?
One more, I said that?
Was he in the back of the car when he got
No,
away?
he was not in the back of the car.
So
He
where
was.
was
He was on the sidewalk, because I said that before. So yeah, he was actually out of the car. The officer was letting him, be out of the car because they had just come out of the hospital. So he was actually sitting on the curb when it happened.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You guys got to come get your stuff though.
No, we're gonna leave it on you.
I'll walk off with it. You won't get it back.
All right.
Everybody got the release, got the streets and all that in it?
Yes.
Thank you.
I got two of
It
those.
was in St. James, I think.
You have been listening to Lieutenant James Greco with the Fort Pierce Police Department as we go back to aerials of what's been a wild morning up in the Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie area. On the lookout for Ernest Lee Reese, an escaped felon. All began just after midnight today. He had been arrested in connection with a domestic violence incident. As you look at part of what ended up being a huge search scene across Fort Pierce and now parts of Port St. Lucie. He's arrested on domestic violence incident and an outstanding warrant. Later in the morning, about 6:30 a.m., he is taken to HCA Florida Lawnwood Hospital claiming he feels faint. An officer's with him, comes outside. If you just joined us, he's in cuffs, cuffed in front. He's not put in the car right away. He's sitting on the curb, and then starts running. The officer gives chase on foot, but loses him. Then, according to police, later they see him going into a set of doctor's offices. People are going into work. He goes up and grabs somebody's car, that person unhurt, but there's a carjacking there. That person unhurt, as he takes that person's car, leads them on a chase that ends up with the car being dumped at about 25th and Macedo in Port St. Lucie, an ongoing search by Fort Pierce Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, and Port St. Lucie Police at this hour for Ernest Lee Reese. You've seen his picture there. Perhaps we can put it up one more time. The suspect escaping from police custody this morning. We'll keep you up to date on air and online with the very latest on the search for the suspect. And of course, if you have any information or see anything at all, immediately call 911. Call police and let them handle it. But on the lookout across a couple of communities on our Treasure Coast. We'll keep you up to date right here. For now, I'm Michael Williams reporting. Back to our regular programming.